Hey, come along with me while I do some chores and listen to some music. The War of Two Queens by Jennifer L. Armentrout. I was really worried it was gonna go down like a certain path and something was gonna happen with the storyline because people were saying it did, and then it didn't. Like, I don't know what they were worried about. There's like one scene and like it makes sense for the storyline and the type of book it is. So people were doing all this complaining about one scene, and I thought it was because of the magnitude of what they were complaining about, that it was affecting the entire storyline and like it was going to affect the main romance in a huge way, and it didn't. Yeah, so you know the sequel that we all waited so long for? Hellbent by Leigh Bardugo. There was such a long wait in between book 1 and book 2, and she kept doing other things in between, and now we're waiting on book 3, and that's just going to be a huge long wait as well, because she said she was like writing something but it wasn't Alex Stern 3, and excuse me, finish the series you're currently working on, please. I need more. I need to know what happens. I actually want all 7 or 12, whatever, how many books that she was gonna write in the series. It should be more than 3. So a book that took me by surprise was House of Sky and Breath by Sarah J Maas. Did not see that ending coming. Like I was suspecting things, because even though I read it within days of release, people were already spoiling it because no one had any chill, which is rude. Give it at least a month. But besides that, did not see it coming, was a surprise. But yeah, I didn't expect it to be as a big thing as it looks like it's gonna be. Action-packed book. Honestly, like Morning Star by Pierce Brown. So like, we know I'm not the biggest fan of that series just because I didn't get attached to many people and stuff, and I kind of got a little bored. But there's no denying that there is a lot of action in that last book. It's like space battle after space battle after space battle, which is actually what made me bored, was space battles, because there were just so many of them. Sarah J Maas and Rochelle Mead are always guaranteed to get me out of a reading slump. Like, some people need a quick, fun contemporary to get out of a slump. I need like a full-on paranormal fantasy world I love with characters I love. And Rochelle Mead and Sarah J Maas do that. Let me introduce One Last Stop has like an incredible cast of characters, like their whole friendship group, and then everyone around them is just like, it's great, and like everyone brings something different and they all contribute to the story, and is so representative of like different people and of like being in your 20s and being out on your own. Well, like they're in a share house, but like on their own, and trying to figure out life. And also like the girl on the train and trying to figure out what the hell's her deal. I walk in the room, all the focus on. The prettiest books in my collection are probably my Shadow and Bone and Throne of Glass special editions. They are just gorgeous, and they're hardcovers, and they have gold foiling, and like, who doesn't love gold foiling?
Hearts on fire, we're no liar.
A series that I wish could never end, or would just like keep going, is obviously Vampire Academy / Bloodlines by Rochelle Mead. Like, it's already 12 books with like short stories scattered across different collections, but I need to see Rose in her 20s. Like, I need to see what happens next. There's so much potential for stories as well. Like, what happens to the world now that Lyssa is queen, and what changes she bringing to the world? Is that stupid rule that they brought in book 6 of Vampire Academy, has she overturned that already? Is she actually studying? How is Rose going, being like head guard of the royal guard? How are Rose and Dimitri going in their relationship now that they're both like adults? Adrian and Sydney, are they just having like a quiet domestic life? As I don't imagine that can happen. Something has to happen.
Stare into...
No one's gonna be surprised when I say my favorite ships are Rose and Dimitri from Vampire Academy and Aelin and Rowan from Throne of Glass. Really, it's not a surprise to anyone now, is it? I love them all so much.
Running from the past, dripping on the now.
Just to continue to repeat myself, books that are almost perfect, anything by Sarah J. Maas or Rochelle Mead. Like, I adore those books so much and with my whole heart. I love them, but they're almost perfect because, of course, as with anything, there's just like little things that I would change. Not like anything totally major, except maybe for like one thing in Throne of Glass towards the end. But other than that, just little mini things. Not today, Satan. Not today. Had enough of crying when I read Allegiant for the first time, or like, I haven't read it again since, but like when it first came out. Nope, it had me a mess. It's like the most I've ever cried in a book, I reckon. And I was just like, what's the point of everything anyway? And then, you know, I went online and I watched Christine Riccio's review of Allegiant, and she had the exact same reaction to me. A villain I love to hate, Sebastian Morgenstern from The Mortal Instruments. Obviously, he's like, he is a villain. Like, there's no redeeming qualities about him, and he's just such a good villain.
Don't blink, no, I don't wanna miss it.
Okay, and a book that gave me feelings. It's a book I recently read. It's The Fate We Make, Book 1, Heartbreak by Simone Warren. It is her autobiography, and Book 1 is called Heartbreak because it focuses primarily on her romantic life and her partners and who she's been with. There's also a section where she writes in the viewpoint of her female ancestors. And like, all of these women went through so much shit and so many shitty men. Simone and her family are from Singapore, so there's a lot of like internalized misogyny and like very, I guess, conservative type views of like the society as a whole in Singapore. So that contributed to like the women in her family staying in these terrible relationships that they can't get out of because they're women. And every time you thought Simone's life was going to get better, just another thing comes along and kicked her down, and she got back up every time. But then, oh my god, bad things just kept happening to her. And then I got so happy when her kids came along, even though her kids had to go through a little bit of shit in their early life. And then I sighed in relief and happiness when like her Prince Charming came along. It was a lot of feelings. So yeah, thanks for coming along with me to listen to some Julie and the Phantoms and do some chores. I actually have more chores to go and do now. But comment down below if you loved Julie and the Phantoms as well. Criminal that it never got a second season, especially on that cliffhanger. And please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and stick around a little longer. There are videos I reckon over here that you might like to watch.